You are tuned in to On Air with Chris Shanafelt.
Welcome back on air with Chris Shanafelt. We're going to jump back into the college football ranks now as we go out to Muncie, Indiana. That's right, we're going out to Ball State University, where we can find their new running back by way of Edinboro University. He's Walter Fletcher. Walter, really do appreciate you taking some time to chat this evening. How's everything going?
It's going well. I actually got here on Friday, and we started workouts this Monday, actually. So I just started trying to get acclimated, new teammates, new playbook, new system and everything. So, I'm happy to be here. I'm blessed with the opportunity, and I'm ready to get to work.
Yeah, absolutely. A big opportunity ahead for you, no doubt about it. And for those not familiar with your situation, Walter, you're coming from Edinboro University, a Division II program, a part of one of the toughest conferences in the country in the PSAC. We'll just kick things off by asking you to just tell us about your experience the past 4 years at Edinboro, playing for the Fighting Scots, again, in one of the toughest conferences there is in Division II football.
Yeah, well, actually to start, out of high school, I didn't have any offers, so I had to actually go attend prep school in Massachusetts, and then after that, I went to Randolph-Macon, which is a Division III school in Virginia, first semester. And then I ended up emailing Coach Bradford at Edinboro, and he gave me opportunity. And my first year there, I redshirted. And then after that, Coach Lustig, he actually came and helped change the program around. And ever since then, I was a 3-year starter. And, I just had a good time at Edinboro. I had great teammates, great O-line, great coaches and everything. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to play there for 3 years. And I had a very successful career that I'm blessed to have.
Yeah, I mean, what you were able to do there, and we're going to certainly talk about it and more. I mean, what you were able to do at Edinboro was quite incredible, especially seeing as you had no offers coming out of high school. Like you said, you actually wound up at a Division III school before you wound up at Edinboro. And, again, you redshirted in 2015. Then in 2016, you made your presence felt right away. You scored 11 touchdowns. 6 in the running game, 3 receiving. You even threw a touchdown, and you recovered a blocked punt in the end zone for a touchdown. Again, 11 total touchdowns that first year, suiting up for the Fighting Scots. So, I mean, you were able to make an impact on the game in more than one way, to say the least. How were you able to have the immediate impact and success on the Edinboro football program that you had from the get-go?
That year, we had a talented quarterback in Jake Sisson. He was a junior that year. Receivers, he had Jordan Williams, who was a transfer from Liberty University, with Alex Caratelli. We had Tanaz Gregory and James Clark. And, we had a talented receiving core. So I just did whatever it took to win. If that was pass blocking some games, I didn't get many touches. I still, had my head on straight and decided to pass block and help my teammates win. So whatever the team needed me to do, whether that was pass blocking, catching passes out the backfield, blocking punts on special teams, just whatever it took to win, I was going to do that for my team. And we had a lot of success that year. We finished up 9-2, coming off an 0-11 season. So that was good.
I mean, talk about a quick turnaround, no doubt about it. Is that something you take pride in about your, when talking about or focusing on your game, Walter? Just the versatility you bring to a football team, whether it's offense, special teams, whether it's running the ball, catching the ball. I mean, when going over your game, I mean, What you seem to have your fingerprints on the game in more than one way.
Yes, I pride myself on versatility, like I mentioned before, whether that's, pass blocking, catching the ball out of the backfield. I'm always working on catching and just route running, just trying to be the best player that I can. And I think that me being versatile gives my teammates and the coaches and everyone around me a good chance to win. I just like to be a selfless player who just wants to win. So whatever that takes, I'm ready to do that, and I will do that to help my team.
And looking back at the 2017 season, your redshirt sophomore year, Walter, you rewrote the record books as you ran for 1,740 yards, 18 touchdowns. You hauled in 30 receptions, 160 yards, 3 more scores. You ran for over 100 yards in 8 of the team's 11 games that season, 4 of which you went for over 200 yards. And I know I'm just rattling off all these stats. And for those listening, I mean, check out any highlights, any tape that you can get your hands on. It's really quite impressive, again, in the one of the toughest, or in my opinion, probably the toughest conference in Division II. You were named a Division II All-American, Walter, from a number of different publications. Looking back, how special was that season, and what allowed you to break out onto the scene as one of Division II's best tailbacks?
It was incredibly humbling, just being a guy who's been overlooked my whole life. I use that as motivation. After my redshirt freshman year, I just felt like I had a lot to prove, just running the ball and catching as well. And that summer, I just took it upon myself to just really put in the work in, focus on my technique, and just improving my game all around. It was just a blessing to accomplish the things that I did. And, it was a very special season to do that. Coming into the season, I didn't have a lot of expectations. I just wanted to win, and help my teammates, put them in the best position to win as well. So, just to be able to accomplish all that was very humbling, and I'm very blessed, and I just thank God for putting me in that position that I am today.
You mentioned some of your teammates earlier. They say a quarterback and a running back, so much relies on the offensive line. I mean, can you just speak on, how much of an impact the O-line has had on your success as a tailback?
Yes, sir. I always credit my O-lineman, Coach Corey, who's still there at Edinboro, the offensive line coach. He's done a great job, preparing those guys and helping them with their technique and just making sure they're focused on the little things, to help myself and the quarterback and the offense as a whole to win. And, I credit those boys to helping me with my success, but, my success is their success. So, just to tip my hat off to them for just, always pushing me to be my best and me pushing them to be their best. It was just a great experience all around, and I thank those guys every day to help me, put me in a position today to be at Ball State and, continue my journey.
Yeah, and just, looking at some of the running back history of the PSAC, I mean, whether we talk about yourself now moving on to Ball State or just this past weekend, you had two guys in Kutztown's, Craig Reynolds signed with the Washington Redskins. You had Wes Hills, Slippery Rock University signed with the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, so again, for those not familiar with the PSAC, certainly a lot of talent in this conference. Whether you talk about the running back position, whether you talk about other positions as well, you'll find schools from the PSAC represented in the National Football League. Walter, just for you, talking about the conference as a whole, talking about the competition as a whole, when you first arrived at Edinboro University and you strapped on your helmet, put the pads on, I mean, what were you expecting? I mean, a lot of people think Division II football, it can't be that good. Little do they know, a ton of talent in this conference. I mean, did it exceed your expectations, or were you somewhat surprised as exactly how good this conference was when you first began playing in it?
I mean, I've always heard about the PSAC and how competitive and how good the conference was. And coming in, I knew that I needed to elevate my game, in order to be successful in the PSAC, because there's great teams like Slippery Rock, Kutztown's a great team as well, Shippensburg, Cal University, Cal PA, IUP. There's a lot of great teams with great talent. As far as running backs too, we're all on social media. We all push each other. We all support each other. We all want to succeed and get to the next level. So, it's a very competitive conference, but at the end of the day, we all support each other. And we just want each other to succeed on and off the field, So it's definitely a great conference, and it's on the rise. The PSAC is getting better and better every year.
Again, we're talking with Walter Fletcher, the running back for the Ball State Cardinals, formerly of Edinboro University, the Fighting Scots. And before we talk about your new team, your new university, Ball State, let's look at this past season. I mean, it was really just the same song and dance from your first few years at Edinboro. I mean, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Walter. And once again, you're able to be the main focus on the Fighting Scots offense. You ran for over 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns. Let's talk about that Seton Hall game, though, man. I mean, you ran for a program best 328 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, how big were those holes in that game? You averaged over 15 yards a touch. 10, 20 years from now, Walter, when you're reminiscing about your Edinboro career, is that going to be one of the first games that come to your mind?
Just definitely up on top of the list. It was a great game. Trey Stons, Alex Molick, Vitale. Some of those guys in the O-line were just motivated and determined to open those holes up for me. And like I said, I credit them all the time. And I'm thankful to have the O-line that I have, because they're a big part of my success, as well as Coach Corey. If it's working, we kept with it. So that was definitely one of the most exciting games I've ever played in. I was blessed to be able to break the school record and celebrate that with my teammates. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, 328 yards, 4 touchdowns. You get the win. I got to think it doesn't get much bigger or better than that. All right, moving on now, Walter. Tell us about your decision to transfer to Ball State. When did you know that you had played your last game at Edinboro? And, again, how did this all kind of come down, and how did you ultimately choose Ball State?
Coming into the season, I wasn't expecting to transfer at all. I was focused on the year, focused on winning games with my teammates, and just focused on, being the best player I can. And after the season, I just decided, sat down with my parents, my family, and I just decided what was the best route to get to the next level. And it actually worked out because I graduated this past spring semester, and, I had the opportunity to become a grad transfer. So, I told Coach Bradford, we sat down, we talked, and he understood everything. And I just felt like it was the best decision to just move on, start fresh from my last season, just to try to get a shot at the next level.
No doubt about it. And again, this is just a fantastic story as somebody that, coming out of high school had no offers. You actually spent your first semester at a Division III program before going the D2 route, landing at Edinboro, and now here you are at Ball State University. Spring football, I know started March 14th. Spring game was April 13th. At the start of the show, you said you just arrived, earlier this past week. What's the feeling like around there at Ball State? Is there an excitement for the football program? How about you? You arriving on campus, having the success that you've had, and being looked at as a nice jump start to this running attack. What was there an excitement just to have you around the program?
Yeah, just back to the recruiting thing, just choosing Ball State as well. Just meeting Coach Lynch and both the Lynch family and the Lynch brothers and Coach Neal, they just opened me welcome arms. It just felt like it was a family environment. Coming here this past week, the team has opened me with open arms. Been helping me out, just helping me get acclimated, just providing that family atmosphere that I've wanted, and that I'm appreciative of that. And it's just been great just being here, just getting settled in. It's been a change just because you're the new guy. It's a fresh start, you're the underdog, but I'm just here to work, and hopefully I get the opportunity to play and show my talent here.
Obviously, nothing's going to be handed to you, Walter, but has the coaching staff given you an idea as to what your role might be? Are you have you already been named the starting running back? Are you kind of working for that job right now? Any expectation as to what your role may be looking like come this fall?
Right now, I'm just focused on, better relationships with my teammates and just working hard. I have a lot to prove, just being the new guy, having expectations. I just want to, win the trust of my teammates, and when that time comes, it comes. But right now I'm just, focused on summer workouts and just getting better every day. So, when that time comes, it comes. But right now, I'm just focused on trying to be the best player I can to showcase my talent.
And I'll leave you on this, Walter. For those not familiar with your game, how would you describe it again? It's kind of tough for the average fan, or maybe the average fan doesn't watch Division II football, but it's kind of hard to get your hands on some Edinboro tape. But for those not familiar with your game, how would you describe it? What should MAC football be prepared to see week in and week out?
I feel like I'm a very patient runner. A lot of people have compared me to Le'Veon Bell, just as far as, patience, letting holes develop. And on the receiving end, I like to watch Christian McCaffrey's films. I feel like he's a very versatile running back. He can run the ball between the tackles. He can run outside the tackles. He can catch the ball. He's very versatile. So just someone who's just very versatile, who can run in between the tackles, catch the ball out of the backfield, play special teams, kick return, just whatever my team needs me to be at the time. So, just a very versatile running back who's dangerous on the field, given the opportunity. So I'm excited for the season, and I thank you for the opportunity for this interview.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I'm sorry, one more thing. I know you kind of mentioned it that, your ultimate goal, your dream is to make it to the next level. I assume you're probably talking professional football. Is that the ultimate goal? Again, I know, there's still a whole season ahead of you. A lot of work to be put in, but is that, something that you're going to try and push for maybe after your collegiate career is all said and done?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That was a big part of my decision coming to Ball State was trying to get to the NFL, But right now, like I mentioned earlier, I'm just focused on, winning the trust of my teammates and this coaching staff and just focusing on the season. But at the end of the day, my long-term goal is trying to have a chance to compete at the next level in the NFL. So
well,
I'm excited.
Your game certainly translate. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And the MAC football conference, they ought to be on a lookout for you, Walter, because I think it's going to be a big season for you, a big season for the Cardinals. And I really look forward to catching a game or two there in Muncie, Indiana. And again, Walter, I mean, that's all I have for you. Really do appreciate you taking some time this evening. Any final words before I let you go?
No, just thank you for having me today. I'm very blessed to have the opportunity, and I appreciate the interview.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Hope to keep in touch. Best of luck, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.